Welcome to the Cross Discussion, a podcast run by young adults for young adults. Thanks for joining us today online. However you're choosing to join, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, it's awesome to have you for another episode. Share the episode with whoever you feel like would benefit from this sort of thing today. I've got, obviously, myself, Cody. We've got Sophie and Jaden alongside, hosting alongside with me. We've also got Tye and Beth joining us as our guests today.
Hello.
Which is awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on today.
I think you're the first person who's ever said hello to the camera.
You are. There you go.
I love it. It's interaction. I love it.
Engage with the audience.
Yeah.
In for a treat today.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about your story, and kind of, you've just recently been married, so I believe it was June last year. June last year. Look at that, my memory. I knew it was one of those two. Starts with a J. Yeah, so really cool. So recently married. We're just going to discuss, obviously, how kind of your faith has changed between dating and marriage, and kind of go a bit in depth on like how people should feel in relationships specifically and that sort of thing. So it should be really cool. So Beth and Tye, we like to do a bit of an icebreaker activity for all of our new guests. So we like to play a game of Would You Rather, which I think will be pretty fun. I'm going to ask you a couple of Would You Rather questions and we'll actually get both of your answers. First time we've had two guests on answering these. So
Breaking all the rules here.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of a discussion.
What?
I don't know. Would you rather? I'm a bit nervous.
We had a would you rather at work, and I want all your answers.
We're going to test the marriage.
There's no incorrect
we're
answer,
doing.
however, you might get shunned for some answers.
Chocolate
So-
or strawberry? Pick.
Oh, yeah. You're flipping, kind of turning the tables on me
Whoa,
here.
are you
aren't
asking?
Ask
I like
me,
answer the
ask me.
question. Answer the question. Come on.
Chocolate
Yeah,
or strawberry?
chocolate or strawberry?
Hey, there's a
Me.
correct. There's a
Chocolate.
correct. Good.
I knew it.
Good man. Love it.
All right.
Sophie?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
You were meant to
Beth?
be like,
Chocolate.
What?
you're meant to be one of the lads. Are you kidding me?
Strawberry all the way.
No.
How good.
Out.
Ty, you're the Ty. You're
Can
the
we kick
face
him?
of the
Can we
lads.
kick him off? Last address. Can we kick him off the podcast?
We all
It was originally supposed to be just Beth anyway, so
Yeah.
you decided to go, actually, I want to play hard on this.
Whoa. Bro, I just...
We've never had so much banter. We've never, not even banter. This is just shame and
I've
ties.
just gotten here.
You know what?
Just right.
It's because we've known you for so long. We've got that kind of
That's true.
that banter that's already there. Anyway, we're losing time.
Would
so-
you rather? Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Question.
Let's go. Would you rather be forced to live the same day over and over again for a full year, or take 3 years off the end of your life?
Oh my gosh. Wait.
Hang on, so
3
first
years?
bit again.
3 years.
Would you rather be forced to live the same day over and over again
Forever.
forever,
Forever.
No, for a full
or
year.
for a full year? Sorry,
For a
For
year.
full year,
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
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 or take 3 years off the end of your life.
Oh, it depends what the day is.
Depends how long I
Yeah.
live for.
If it's my birthday,
Does it really matter if it's a
I
good day?
choose that one.
It gets
It's the
quite boring.
same every day.
It's gonna be the
for
exact same.
365
What if it's a
days.
work day? You just go
Exactly.
to work
Depends
every
the day, doesn't
I
it?
guess you could just like experiment and not go to work some days.
You could actually. This is true.
You do have a whole
Because
year.
you just live the day again, so no one's going to remember that you didn't show
Groundhog
up.
Day is actually a really
Yeah.
good movie. Recommend. It's a. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
I think I'd do that.
probably-
I'd do that.
I think I'd take 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. I'll make it 5 years.
Well, then I'm not going to choose it.
But what if
We'll
you
make it 2
die
years.
within the 3 years, you pick that one and you just die?
What before the
What?
You take 3 years off the end of your life, right? What if
And
I
you die
tomorrow?
instantly.
Yeah, do I just die
Because you were
instantly?
going to die in
True.
3 years' time from today.
This is the first time we've had the would you rather's kind of shot back at us.
Ah, big.
I think that's enough discussion
just
of
don't
that
wanna hear
question.
I honestly don't know. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
What?
Would you? Would you rather
Just
get?
can't not
Right. Next question. We're not done discussing that.
I would pick the 3 years. Just
Thank
to
you,
let
Tom.
you know.
Thank you for your answer there.
Just for the record, I picked the 3 years. Would you rather get a paper cut every time you turn a page, or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Paper cut.
Paper cut.
I don't read.
Yeah. I have a Kindle.
Your Bible.
So
Kindle counts as well. It's like
Oh,
a,
it's on
Yeah.
phone.
it's a friction burn every time you use a Kindle.
friction burn. Yeah, I'd still probably
It just
do that.
zaps you every time.
Yeah. Would you rather get trapped in the middle of a food fight or a water balloon fight?
Oh, they're both fun.
What am I wearing?
Clothes.
Okay.
Am I wearing one?
Wait, for the food fight or for?
Well, it depends what nice clothes I'm wearing.
You're wearing this.
I'm wearing this.
Yeah.
Just say
Whatever
what,
you got
yeah,
on
what
now.
you're wearing now.
Water balloon.
Probably.
It's hot. It's too hot right now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah, good.
That's
good thinking,
fun.
Bethany.
That's fair. What if it was winter?
Food. Just catch it
Why does
now.
it change the answer?
I'm not sure you'd be.
What type of
scared
food?
to do that. Stop it with these. Come on.
No.
We need to.
Let's make a rule. You can't make questions in the question. Let's go with that.
But we're discussing.
You just need to give us your answer.
Okay. Water balloons, Cody.
All right.
Lock
Thank
it
you.
in.
Would you rather die before or
Lock it
after
in.
your partner?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Who thought of that one?
Okay, we've actually discussed this before though.
Yeah.
And we've said like I would want okay, in like the least selfish way possible. Do you remember we've said this before?
Yes.
Where we're like, I would want you to die first because I couldn't face the fact that you would have to live without me. I can't imagine you
But
having
I'm
to
the
live on
same.
the earth without me. That makes me too sad
But
to
that's-
think
I'm
about
sad.
him being alone. So I'm like, you die first and I'll be alone.
Kind of cute. Not gonna lie.
No, that's not the same.
Little cute.
So I'm like, I would rather die after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we would prefer to die after each other,
other.
because we don't
That's
want the other
very
one to be
nice.
alone.
So obviously you can't make a unanimous decision.
I'd prefer to be
Yeah, so-
alone than have to
Him be
be in
alone.
heaven and watch him be alone.
But there's joy in heaven. There's joy.
You don't feel that,
Joyous
that
place.
sadness.
Like-
He's on earth. So
You'll
he's
probably
not
be like,
joyous.
"Oh
Come
my
join
God."
you. Come join you eventually.
You'll be like, oh my gosh, how
You'll be
is he
celebrating
coping?
that
And I'll
he's
probably just
crying.
be chilling. You know, like a couple years down the line.
Yeah, true.
I'll work
That's a good
through it.
point.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, what the heck? It's in that morning.
Be sad.
All right.
That's my answer.
Sweet. There you go. Cool. I would have expected that answer anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather give up your phone for a month or bathing for a month?
My phone.
Your phone.
My
I'm a
baby.
clean gal.
I didn't write these questions, all right?
Yeah, why?
Bathing.
That's what it says. That's what it says.
Medieval, like, noble.
Would you? Would you rather? Would you rather give up your phone for a month or being clean for a month?
Okay.
Can you do it in like a day?
I would give up
Probably
my
the
phone.
phone, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we won't be stinky.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, this last question is the one that we usually ask. That's our standard question we ask for. Would you
Okay.
rather? It's would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Not this one.
One horse-sized duck. Or 100, is it?
I would
100 horse-
choose-
one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses.
I would choose the duck-sized horse and
Me too.
tame it.
There's 100.
And I would
There's 100.
make it my...
We always have someone thinking so outside
No,
the
the
box.
There's
big
100
one. The
duck-sized
horse-sized duck.
Oh,
that
right.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
I would tame it.
We've never thought
With
about
The
bread.
massive duck.
With bread. A whole loaf of
Doesn't
bread
bread
each
hurt
time.
duck?
Imagine giving it like a cuddle though, like a massive big floppy
Right?
duck. Aww.
I would love like 100
Yeah,
little
but-
baby horses though.
Have you not seen a duck? Ducks are
But you have to
feisty.
fight them. You have to beat them up. So
Yeah, true. You
Yeah.
can't tame it.
could
gotta
you live
fight
with
it.
yourself after
But they're so
beating up 100
tiny.
horses?
It'd be like little puppies with hooves.
They would be quite cute.
That would be so noisy. Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, true. I'd still choose the 100 little horses.
I just kick. the
That's where we
100 little
differ.
horses.
Yeah.
That's where we differ.
There you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
Good to see. That's a bit of insight on your personalities, even.
That's right.
Like
Usually
people,
I choose whatever he chooses.
people disagree in
Yes.
marriage. What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like I will, if we go to eat somewhere,
Yeah.
I will know what I want, and I'm like, that's it. And then Beth will jump between what I have and then something else. And then last minute, yeah, I'll get what he's having.
Because,
was it-
do you know why? I'm sure so many people also understand me out there. Please let me know if you relate.
In the comments.
In the comments. That I know if I choose the other thing, then we'll get our food and he'll have the thing that I was thinking about. And I'll choose the other thing that I was also thinking about. And his will be better than mine every time. And so I'll want it. Or if mine, the other one, was better, I didn't choose it, so I don't know. I'm oblivious to it. So, you know, I'd rather just
true,
choose what he
actually.
has so I don't get like,
The
Food
ignorance is
envy.
bliss.
Yeah.
It's like that one scenario where one of you would order food, the other one would be like, I'm not hungry, I'm not going to order anything. And then as soon as the food comes out, they go, can I have some?
Yeah, exactly. You really do that, do we? I'm always hungry, so I always get something.
Yeah, you never turn down an offer.
And never
To get some food.
Never.
True.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, is good.
But yeah.
All right. We've got a couple of questions lined up for you guys regarding, obviously, your stories and just how life has kind of changed for you before and after marriage. So first up, we're talking about this in this podcast. The entire point of this podcast is to kind of talk about purpose and identity and go in depth about that sort of thing. So we've discussed how important purpose really is in our lives. Are you able to tell us a bit about the family that you each grew up in and how that has shaped your relationship with each other?
Do you want to start?
No, you can start.
Okay.
This is
Well-
your show. I'm just here, remember?
Ladies first.
I would say I grew up with my mum and dad and my two beautiful brothers. I love my family so much. And I don't know, I grew up with some challenges, definitely. But without going into like too much detail, I would say, I don't know, you always have things that when you grow up and you get into like this stage of life, especially like marriage and dating and stuff, there's always things that you take from your parents, whether that's positive things or negative things, and you go, well, I want to do it. I want to do it just how they did it in this sense, in this sense, in this sense. But I really don't want to do it that way as well. That's this thing, I don't want to do it like that. I don't want to do it like that, you know. And they're human. Everyone makes mistakes and stuff, you know. So, and we make mistakes too. And like, yeah, but I think, the biggest thing that I took away from my parents' relationship is that I wanted to find someone and marry someone who was my best friend. That was, because, I think, like, my parents probably didn't really have that, and they didn't really have heaps in common and stuff like that, or, and so I just looked at that and went, I really want to find someone that I laugh with and that gets me, and that wants to do the things that I want to do, and I want to do the things that he wants to do. Even though we don't really have the same interests, we still just put the effort in. Just to be best friends. Like, we love hanging out together, you know.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest thing. Yeah, was just to be friends.
Yeah, really cool. I've seen that relationship that you two have had
Yeah.
So I remember when you guys started dating even, I think I was kind of starting to get into the, was it right after you graduated, hey? Or was it right
A year
before?
after we
Yeah,
graduated.
year after,
high school.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that because you guys were the youth leaders and I was part of the youth at that point, and I remember
Yeah.
watching that sort of thing. Watching your relationship grow over the years has been just really cool to watch.
Aw,
And it's been exactly how you described, just from obviously a third person
Yeah.
perspective as well. So, yeah. How about you, Ty?
Thanks, man. I guess kind of similar, but like my mum just started coming to church when I was 4, and she was a single mum because of obviously just family dramas with dad and stuff. And then dad left the picture when I was 12, which was a bit of a struggle. Obviously trying to find that fatherhood figure in my life, but no, to be honest, like mum being a single mum and then ending up with now my stepdad Bruce, like she's an absolute weapon. You know, she's, like still took me to church, like still took the effort to take me to places and stuff. So it definitely had like a really loving home, I guess. But like obviously like every kid growing up, you face challenges and stuff. It's just different for everyone. But yeah, I can definitely say that God was through it all, no matter if I thought it or not. Like he was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool.
that's the footnotes anyway.
Yeah. We're super grateful for our parents, both of
Yeah.
us. And our parents both get along too, which makes it like
my
super nice. Our parents like each other a lot. So
I don't know about anyone else, but like your partner's parents can sometimes be a deal breaker.
oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, if you're seeing someone and their parents just like do not like you, that would suck,
Yeah.
right?
It would,
Are
yeah.
you gonna have Christmas and all the
Yeah, like they
it
all
makes
just get
some
along.
things. It makes a
like-
lot of stuff awkward if you,
You want
don't
to like
really get
them.
along.
So,
But,
you want
Yeah, and you want them to like you.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
put
yeah,
that in
we've
the
been-
little memory bank.
That's right.
Right?
I mean, if
that
you
to
really,
future
really
Joe.
love the person, it
Yeah,
obviously.
like you'll
but,
make it work. But
Yeah.
yeah. It's just been a very big blessing for us that
Yeah.
our parents are both just incredible. We love them
So
so
it would have
much.
made it much easier, I think. Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, how were you guys able to keep your identity in your relationship before you were married? So while you were dating, and also after you married.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
So I think definitely the fact that we had a faith in God was the biggest thing. Although, again, like we didn't do it perfect all the time, it is easy to slip into putting your identity into each other, especially when you're like freshly dating and you're young. But we just had to try really hard to make sure that we were keeping our identity in Christ. And also other little things like making sure you still keep your friends separately and together. Like you have friendships that you can hang out with together, and then you've also got your friends separately too. Like make sure you keep your friendships and your community, because that kind of stuff is like make or break as well. Those are the people that help you through life. Like I don't know what we would do without our community and, you know, all the people in our life that have helped us in our relationship. Yeah, so I think not putting your identity in each other and not like isolating yourself as well. It's just like super important, because those people help you to keep your eyes on God and to not slip into those bad habits. That's what I would say.
Sorry, just to like ask you a question off that. What does it look like, I guess, for you? Because for me it's different as well. Like in keeping your identity with God, like how do you do that?
Keeping my identity with God looks like, I guess, making sure that I am spending time with God and also knowing who He says that I am. Not who I think that I am. You know, like I know my strengths and stuff like that and my weaknesses and that, but like knowing yourself when you've got God in the picture is knowing who God calls you to be. That's the biggest thing. Like I know that I am loved by Him, that I'm made perfectly in His image, that I don't have to try and be anybody else, that I actually came to a spot right before we started dating. So maybe a little tangent, but not really. It relates. Is that like all through high school pretty much, I just like strived for and pined for wanting a relationship. I was like and to the point where I would be like crying about it, you know, in worship and stuff like that, because I was like, I just really want a husband. I want a family. Like that was my biggest desire in my heart, like deep down. But that year out of school, first year out of school, it was a massive learning journey for me, and I came to a point where I was completely content with not having that, because I knew that no matter what happened, I was God's. He had a purpose for me. He loved me, loves me, and that He also wants my deepest desires for me. So I just had to let go of it and just trust that it would happen when He had it planned. And then that at the end of that year, we started dating, and then the rest is history. But yeah, I think it's super important to come to that place where you're okay being alone, even if, because you're not alone. You know what I mean? Like, you're okay with just being single and not getting married if that's not what God has for you. Or
I feel like that resonates with so many like young girls.
Yeah.
Like I know even for me, like you just want that like person, you're always looking for them. But getting to that point where you're happy and content just with God. But I just wanted to ask as well, were there any like signs? I know people kind of say wait for God to put that person in your life. Were there any signs that you thought, Tye is like the one? Or is it kind of more of a journey? Or like was there any, I guess, or confirmations as well?
Like, I want to be super real and honest and just say that, like, I actually struggled with that a lot, even when we were, like 4 years into dating. And we had lots of conversations about it. And I'd be like, what if you're not the one? Like, I don't know. You know, like, God's not said to me, like, Tye is the one. You know what I mean? And Tye said the same thing. He's like, yeah, I get scared about that sometimes too. Like, that's totally real. But I fully believe that there's probably a lot of people out there that you could marry. And there's a lot of people that God might have for you. But it's your choice. Like, it's your free will and it's your choice. And you just have to choose each other every day. Like, that is really what it's about.
Yeah, so you'd say it's less of like there's the one, which I think even in church and stuff we can hear sometimes, and more of like because I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's more like you just choose someone and then you just choose to love each other daily type thing.
Yeah, cool. Totally. And like, you got to have my biggest thing was that I wanted someone that was my best friend, and we were already friends before we started dating, you know, so and then we just started to hang out more intentionally, and we were really getting closer as friends, and then that is just what led like one thing into another, and then we just kind of fell into it easily, and then it was so it probably wasn't ever one moment where I was like, he's the one for me, you know.
I love that though. Like, that's it's so good. It kind of takes the pressure off, because so much pressure on yourself to find the perfect person and, you know, want to hear from God. But that's really great.
I wish I had someone to tell me that, because it stressed me out a lot.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I guess even if when you were with someone, you'd just be questioning, like, what if they're not the one? What if there's someone else? But but then you could do that forever, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, you could do that for anyone. Yeah, any person that you're with. There will never really be one that you're like 100% like this is the person. Yeah, maybe for some people, but you know.
But obviously there's people it would be easier with too and stuff, I guess. Yeah,
exactly. And I think probably for me anyway, I have a very I overthink, and I'm quite an anxious person, so those thoughts were always running around in my head. But ever since we got married, that's never been a thing. Like, it was just
so good.
God, you know, when you get married, you make that commitment to each other, and so that's just never really been a thought for me since then. So
Cool.
What about you?
In what way? We talked about a lot.
We did actually. Did you have any comments?
I think, I totally agree. And I think just going off of like keeping your identity and how it changes between being single and in a relationship, for me, I think I came to a similar, I guess, point where I did want to get married eventually, but then I struggled with actually just trying to find out who I was and like who God said I was. Yeah. And I think when you find that and you hold on to that and you dive deeper into that, then because when someone is looking to date you or potentially be in a relationship with you, like, you have to be, I guess, in a place where you're super confident in who you are. And I found the only way I could get to that point was to be, like, you know, in my devotions, like reading about who God and who Jesus says I am, and knowing that I'm loved and knowing that I have a purpose, and like, I guess empowering yourself with that and knowing that no matter what anyone says, like, you are who you are. And I think as well for, like, it was this when I was, when we started dating, what I found really attractive was that you were you weren't trying to be someone else. And I think I could maybe say that for everyone, like, there's nothing more attractive about someone else than when they're just being them, like, super authentic. It's like how they are with you is how they are with everyone. I feel like we love that about people.
So true.
And so, I guess how that's changed in me being single to dating and then now married is that finding my identity doesn't, I guess, come easier, like, because you're still, like, your attention's now not just with God and with your interests. It's like, okay, now there's another person that I have to serve, like, with my time, my energy. You're going out together, so serving with your money as well. So
that's a massive thing.
Is it?
I just found that was a big thing, like, that you don't really think about is like, now, like, you're spending so much more money. Like, we went through a whole season of, like, we really intentionally, like, budgeted together and stuff like that. But
I was more leading up to marriage, but obviously you don't need to do that when you're just super fresh. But I think it is a massive shift in how you live your life, and you still need to be like, I am still who God says I am. And it's not just like I'm going to find my self-worth in this other person now. It's like, no, it's still God, but we're just like sharing our experience, sharing life together. And then now that we're married, it's not like, it's like not another shift again in terms of, it is a shift because now we're living together. So even more of our time is together. But then we still have to carve out like little spots in our day to, you know, for ourselves and for God as well to work. Because it is real easy to get, I guess, into the trap of being together all the time. And then getting like our worth from each other, which isn't great.
Totally. Yeah.
Because it's,
So I actually had a question for you.
Of course.
So like as a Christian guy going into dating, right? So I think me personally, I still see myself as a boy. Sometimes I would say, not as a man.
Okay.
And like I guess I've always thought like I'd have to be like the man of God, ready to be in a relationship. Was that ever something like? Did you ever struggle with thinking where you were ready to be in a relationship and ready to be with Beth, or and how did you know when you were type thing?
I guess like I was never 100% ready. Like you never will be to be in a relationship. You just kind of have to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
But I think when I felt the most ready was when I knew who I was, like 100%. Like I'm like, I am Tye. I'm who God says Tye is.
Yeah.
I'm not this other version of myself that I've made up. Like I'm me.
Yeah.
And I think from that, and then obviously getting to know Beth deeper, I'm like, okay, this could be something really special. I'm just going to dive in and see what happens.
Yeah, because I guess that standard could be really hard to reach too. Of being because a man of God, like if you look at Jesus, like we're not going to get there, obviously. So,
yeah. And even just like other men in the Bible, like they all also fall short as well.
Yeah. 100%.
So I think giving yourself a little bit of grace, like as long as I'm progressing and Beth can see that I'm progressing, then like that's being a man of God. But that's just being a man, really. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, like we are the spiritual leaders of the house sort of thing. So like if I'm bad in my faith and who I am, like Beth will see that and she might, you know, lose confidence and, you know, start asking questions and that. Whereas like I still have to be pretty strong.
Yeah.
So it's pressure, but it's also like a good pressure because it keeps you accountable, keeps you strong. Yeah.
So when you felt like you knew who you were in Christ, that was
100%.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Can I just add to that? And just say that is what attracted me to Tye, was the fact that he didn't try to be a manly man, you know, like he was just himself and that.
Look at me.
Manly man, come on.
I'm wearing slippers.
I can see you with
He's
that
being
lumberjack
humble
out in
now.
the forest.
Yeah, that's me.
Riding the bull. Yeah, 100%.
But I think like Tye's a creative guy, you know, like he's not some tradey guy. He's not out there like getting dirty and like, you know, like lifting things and I don't know.
I don't even know if that's
holes.
what I meant by a man though.
I know,
Like a
but
man.
I'm just saying like the world perceives that as being manly.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was that he didn't care about that. He just cared about being who God says that he is.
So cool.
And that to me showed me that he's a man of God. Like he
100%.
made that mature like transition, you know.
Yeah. So much easier too because we just have to look to God and if we just try to be like him. So much better than what the world says.
Yeah, because the world changes all the time.
Same for being a woman, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be your authentic self and that's
Cool.
Do you think you should... I just want to get your thoughts on, like, how careful you should be with finding a relationship. So with picking the right person, that sort of thing. Should you just date to kind of check your options or should you date with the... not like in a weird, bad way, but like... should you date with the intention of getting married to that specific person?
Yeah, what's the purpose of dating? Yeah,
biblically. Purpose of dating?
Biblically. We're talking about purpose, so...
Yeah, why don't people just jump straight to marriage?
Yeah.
I guess...
It's true.
I don't know. I guess, yes, like... You would only ever date if you could see yourself being with that person in a relationship. But, like, the whole, like, checking your options thing, like, that's... I don't want to say that's, like, being friends and stuff, but, like, if you're friends... Like, we were friends for way before we were dating. And, like, I dated someone else before and, like, that...
I dated someone else before, like,
But then it's... I don't know. I guess more so like the purpose of dating is to see if you're compatible with that person and to see like throughout, you know, different stages of life and stuff, like are you like sticking together
Yeah.
or like do you have just different opinions on how life should be lived? Like,
Yep.
and that's stuff you only really find out when you start dating.
Yeah.
So it's essentially like a trial version of marriage.
A little bit,
I
yeah.
guess.
It's like you're trialing
Yeah.
how compatible you are with that person before you
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Again, I guess it comes back to like if you're friends, you know, and you have a friendship, like that is really important. If you're both staying in your lane and running towards God, like that you find yourself beside each other, then perfect. Like that's good. But also I think sort of like what you said is you kind of have to know like where do they want to be in the future. I don't know, they might want to go like travel the world and like work overseas, and you might be like I'm a teacher, so you know that is kind of good. Like I could travel and work elsewhere, but I don't really want to do that. Like I want to stay here in the future, or like we have talked about it before, maybe we'd go live overseas for a year or something like, but yeah, I think making sure that your trajectory is similar is really important. But yeah, I guess this is kind of a little veer off of that. But you know, when you get married, that's you do have to make sacrifices, and that's I guess why people get divorced or people break up is like because they, you know, they actually are growing apart and they want different things, and then they kind of don't really make those sacrifices to be in marriage anymore. You know, so like, yeah, if one of you has this passion to do one thing and one of you has a passion to do something completely the opposite, then someone's got to make a sacrifice if you want to make your marriage work. Like, so yeah, I just feel like finding someone who has the same sort of like trajectory as you is really important, and making sure that you're friends and that you both love God.
What was like the point though where it changed from like, because you said you just hung out as friends a lot to start to get to know each other. What was like the point where it changed and the difference when it became dating type thing?
I guess we
That's what I'm trying to say.
were just spending like a lot of time together.
Yeah.
But and it was like we're having like heaps of fun, we're having great chats and stuff, and we're just hanging out heaps, and it's like, well, like, do you want to just start dating? Because we're you know, we're obviously interested in each other, like you know, we want to know more about each other, so why not, sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
It just
You're
kind
already kind of confident, like this could be
Yeah.
the person I'm with at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do actually remember the moment where I was like, I want to marry this guy. But yeah, I said that in our vows. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I do actually remember that.
Yeah. So I do remember that moment. And I just remember like I wanted to tell you like straight away. I didn't want to
So I
freak
would've been
you
like,
out because it
"What?"
was kind of a little bit early on, so I didn't want to freak you out.
I mean, we were dating
yeah.
for 4 years.
We did date for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember everyone that you've just saying, so Tye, when are you going to pop the question? When are you
Yeah.
gonna pop the question?
It was like that for years.
It was.
Like 2 years.
I was asking him all the
Yeah.
time. We had the ring for like a year or something.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
We
just give
never-
it to me.
We never stopped asking you, Tye, about when you were going to
know.
do it. It was like,
Oh my
oh man,
goodness.
it's crazy.
And we had that weird thing where we wanted the lads to like do this flower thing at your ceremony. Do you remember when I kept
Yeah, you
asking
wanted to be a flower boy?
I still think it would have been a great idea. I'm
Yeah.
just
I
putting
think
it
it
out
would've been
there.
awesome.
It's true. We really
Amazing
missed an
wedding.
opportunity.
I'm telling you, it just had to be the traditional thing. No, that's
So
fair
fun.
enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think there was definitely like a moment where it just switched, but yeah, I'd say like we both just realized like we love spending time together, even if we weren't actually like having quality time, you know, like we were both studying when we were dating, so we would just like study together or I don't know, yeah, just do little things, and we loved being around each other all the time. So that was probably, yeah, I guess when we realized.
Yeah. But I think as well, like when you are dating, and for those out there that are dating and you feel like it isn't like working, or like there is stuff where you're like, oh, hang on, like that's a bit of a deal breaker. Like just talk about it with that person. Because sometimes, I guess like their outlook on life, even though it's different, kind of how they compromise their other person, I guess, bringing it up and talking about that concern and how they take it and roll with it. I think that's a massive thing. Like the fact that throughout, you know, like how long we've been together, 5 years, like we've had lots of ups and lots of downs, like
Yeah.
lots of really hard chats.
Really hard conversations.
And I think
Yeah.
like another big reason why I felt, that you were my person was because you dealt with those chats and we worked through stuff. No one just went like, you're being irrational or you're being, you're being too much. Like it was, we, like even though like someone was here, like you have to meet in the middle. Like you both have to work together to get on the same page again.
Yeah, definitely.
And so like if you are struggling with that and that person isn't budging, to me, that's a bit of a deal breaker. Because if someone's super set in their ways or just doesn't want to work with you with simple stuff, like, that can easily become a much bigger problem.
And like we did a lot of work together on our relationship. Like we put in a lot of effort and, we did like EHR, which is emotionally healthy relationships. Yeah. And even before that,
so
we did.
So it's like a course, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a course that we run here at church. And before that, individually, we did EHS, which is emotionally healthy spirituality. And that's about being emotionally mature. Because you can't be spiritually mature if you're emotionally immature.
Yeah.
So, and then we also did EHR, and then that helped us to just like have better conversations together and like actually understand each other. And then, a few years later when we were really talking about marriage, we did SYMBIS, which is another course called Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts.
Yeah.
So we weren't even engaged at this point, and that helped us so much because I think like there's so many courses out there and you can do so many things, but this, I think, really helped us because it highlighted both of our strengths and our weaknesses, and they can both be both at times. Your strength can be a weakness and vice versa. But, like, Tye is a super logical guy. He thinks everything through. He researches everything. He takes his time. He's like an internal processor, and I'm pretty much the exact opposite. So like I get an idea and I want to run with it straight away, and I want to like get it done, and I want to do it right now, and I don't think about it. And I also verbally process. So that was probably really big for us actually when we were dating. Like, something would happen or one of us wasn't feeling right, and Tye would just sort of like go to his quiet space, and I would think something's wrong and that he hates me and that it's over, and because I'm the complete opposite, and I would go to him and I would verbally vomit and then sometimes I would say things that I really didn't mean because I was just verbally processing. But now we know each other's strengths and stuff, and so we are just mindful of that. Like, I know he needs his time, and I just have to be okay with that and trust him. And he knows that I have to verbally process, and that I probably don't mean everything that I've said, and vice versa. So, I mean, it's just making sure that you understand each other and giving each other grace and knowing that that person is not going to do exactly what you would do. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, you just got to understand each other.
Well, it's just like those courses just help highlight, I guess, potential conflicts you'll have.
Yeah.
Even like the EHR and EHS one, like it highlights, I guess, stages of life where you might enter a bit of a conflict and you need to resolve it in a different way, especially with the SYMBIS one, like the Saving Your Marriage, highlighting, I guess, like simple stuff like who's going to do most of the chores, like if such and such happens, like how do you react? And it's...
It sounds so silly, but it's so helpful.
Yeah. Well, it's like sometimes you just need simple stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, you can get all nitty gritty, but then it's like, oh, well, hang on, like I thought you were going to do the laundry. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, no, you do the laundry. And then like, oh my gosh.
It's like so easy to overlook all the simple things.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's just helped us to have an understanding for each other. Like, if something arises, we just sit there together and we just like talk about it. And we just hold space for each other and we give grace. Like, that's, I might say something that maybe I didn't really think through and I didn't say, and he gets it and he'll have grace for that, and I'll reword it, or,
But we don't get it perfect all the time.
No, we don't. We definitely don't.
Definitely not.
Nope.
Not saying we're amazing at it.
Nope. I was crying on the couch like 2 days ago, so we definitely don't get it perfect every time. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, guys.
That's okay.
That's awesome to have you guys again.
Thanks for having
Unfortunately, that is all the time we do have for this episode.
I was just having fun.
I know. I thought it's just started. Yeah, it's gone so quick. But yeah, it was really, really cool to hear, obviously, what you had to say about marriage, relationships, and how kind of your purpose and identity tie into that, and how it's changed throughout your relationship. So really, really cool to hear. And I hope some of the things that you've said have actually also resonated with people watching online as well. So again, like I said at the start, if you have anyone that you wanted to share online with, if anything that did resonate with you feel like would resonate with someone else, feel free to share the episode. We are trying to create a community with this podcast as well. So as much as you can engage, we'll love to engage back with you. We'll if you leave a comment, we'll respond. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, then we'll respond to those as well. We'll hopefully take those on board. Same with the Would You Rathers. Chuck a couple of Would You Rathers in. We'll implement those in for future guests that we have. You can find us on @thecrossdiscussion on Instagram. Leave a couple of comments on. We've got a bunch of behind the scenes videos there, so if you comment on those ones, we'll engage with you back there as well. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so next Tuesday we've got Stephen coming in to discuss discipleship. So that's going to be exciting. Yeah.
Wow. Who's Stephen? We don't know Stephen.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm excited
watch next
to
week.
watch
Watch next
it.
week.
Watch the next episode and you'll know.
And
There
let us
you go.
know, chocolate or strawberry milk?
Yeah.
That's what.
Please.
There's obvious answer.
Leave a
So-
comment what you'd prefer.
Chocolate.
No, if anyone says strawberry, we're gonna unfollow. No,
I was gonna say, we're not going to do that.
no.
Ty is not a real Aussie because he said strawberry milk.
Oh,
Is
brutal.
basic if you like.
We just lost half
I'm
our
sorry.
follower base. Although it should be less
It's
than
just
half.
different.
Yeah, I'm just a
Yeah,
bit
you just
different.
so different.
He just wants to be his own person. He just
I
wants to be
am
me.
my own
I mean, he is. That's true. I mean, like
why
me.
strawberry milk.
He just wants to be different.
Comment
from everyone
strawberry
else.
if you are your own person. I think that's the lesson we learned.
I reckon we just
I think, on that note, I think that's enough from you, Ty. Let the discussion begin.
Comment if you want me.
Let the discussion begin.